Welcome back, everyone. It's the Aces NFL Best Bet Show, Week 7. Last week, we went 7 from 8. Breece Hall let us down. He cost us thousands, but a lot of people apparently put Monty in instead of Breece and made thousands as well. Well, this week, we're going to try go 8 from 8. We're going to go props and touchdowns. We're leaving head-to-head alone, even though last week was the easiest week of all time. This week's tough. This would be the toughest week so far, I reckon, with the games and the matchups. Yeah. But we've found some gems and we're ready to unload. So, Sip, let's start off with some props. I think you're going at 3 props and a tutty. I'm going to go 2 props and 2 tutties. Yep. Even though the tutty hurt me last week, we're going back to the well. Righto, let's get straight into it. Give me your best prop of the week.
My best prop for the week, I reckon he's got a really, really good matchup. Is Kyron Williams, 80-plus rushing yards, I think. He's got a great matchup against Las Vegas Raiders, and he's just been on an absolute tear, hasn't he? So, I mean, I just think he's going to be unstoppable. They're going to feed him the ball, and I think he's going to be really good. Going to be in a great position to be able to do his thing, mate, and he continues on his merry way. So 80-plus rushing yards, I think right there looks pretty good for me.
Love it, Sip. I think he's been on a tear, and he'll be fresh coming off the bye.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, I'm going to go to your team. Saquon Barkley, I believe he will get 20 receiving yards.
Okay.
I think New York Giants have great run defense, and they're going to need to get creative. I've looked at what he's done in the past, and now teams have given the Giants, a few running backs opportunities receiving the ball because their defense is good, their pressure's good, and it's not as easy for their receivers as A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. So I think Saquon Barkley's going to be used a lot. But I think 20 receiving yards is only one big explosive play. It could be 3 or 4 receptions. So Saquon Barkley, you can get about $2.35.
Yeah, that's actually very good.
It's very good odds.
Very good.
So it's probably my value as well, really, because it's only one play. So I'm going to start with Saquon Barkley at running back there for Philly Eagles. Let's move on. Who's your next prop?
Jalen Daniels is my next one. 225-plus passing yards. Comes up against the Panthers. They've been leaking heavily. He's going to be able to do his thing again. I know that he'll probably use his legs and that as well, but 225 passing yards looks pretty good for me there. So I think he just kind of continues on. He's starting to just feel more and more comfortable each week, and he's got a great matchup against the Panthers to be able to just kind of throw it around anywhere as much as he likes.
I love it. And their running back, even though they're going to run the ball quite easily, we're not sure if their running backs are healthy with Brian Robinson, right. So you might need to just get a little play action to Scary Terry down the field.
I love it.
I'm going to go to Detroit Lions. This guy was very quiet last week. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I'm going to hit 80-plus receiving yards. That's about his line, and I think it's as juicy as you'll ever get. This guy normally goes for 100 receiving yards. We understand that Williams is there now, but I think with Hutchinson going down and this game being so tight, they'll be required to throw the ball a little bit more. Yes, they'll run the ball, but I think Amon-Ra has the best matchup in the slot of the week. I was tossing and turning on receptions, but I'm going to go 80-plus receiving yards for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now, you've got one more prop, but I'm going to go to the touchdowns.
Yeah,
so
I love it. I've got one more prop. My one's going to be T. Higgins. Last week, we saw what Philadelphia was able to do against the Browns, and I think the same continues. I think Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are just going to be too good. But I like T. Higgins here for 65-plus receiving yards. As soon as he's come back into the team, Joe's been throwing it to him, and he's in some really good touch right now. And last week he had 7 for 70, and the week before he had an absolute field day. I think he had 2 tutties and 85 yards. So he's in a good spot to be able to do the same thing as what Philadelphia did last week, and I really like him for 65-plus receiving yards.
Love it. I'm actually going to stay in that game. We might have a little same gamer because I've got Jamar Chase as my best touchdown scorer bet of the week. Didn't do much last week, just a quiet game, 72 receiving yards, but he gets that matchup you're talking about. Scary Terry has lit them up in the past, and A.J. Brown really lit them up last week. He's one-on-one down the field. You can't stop this guy. I think he's one of the best receivers in the league. So Jamar Chase coming off a quiet week, he is my touchdown scorer of the week, even though I've got one more. Sip, give us one more.
I'll finish it off, mate. I've got my anytime TD here, and it's not as easy a matchup, but I still think the Buffalo Bills give up a little bit in the running game, and I really like Tony Pollard for an anytime touchdown. So he's starting to build into that offense now that the Titans have, even though it's relatively poor. He's probably been the one shining light for him, and the last few weeks he's been really, really solid. So I like him for an anytime touchdown there. He's basically the a very important guy for him there, and he always gets the ball in his hand. And Spears has obviously been there doing his part as well, but I really like Pollard for an anytime touchdown.
Love it. My last touchdown scorer is going to be Zay Flowers. He comes up against the Bucks secondary. It's a green light. He had 130 receiving yards last week, 9 targets, 9 receptions. He was enormous, but he didn't get in, and he was close, but they were really creative around the red zone. I think Lamar will want to find his man against the Bucks, primetime game. So I've got Flowers as an anytime touchdown scorer. And you know what, Sip? I haven't put this down, but I just realised that Calvin Ridley wasn't on our best bet. So if you want to go one more, I just thought, remember Calvin Ridley was carrying on like a pork chop last week? He does play for the Titans, so I've left him out. But don't be surprised. So a bit juicy here, giving you 5. But Calvin Ridley has escaped my spreadsheet here, but he should be on there. I don't know the markets haven't come out yet, receptions and your yards, but
they need to feed
Calvin Ridley carried on in his post-match presser, and they need to feed him against the Bills. And I think Garrett Wilson lit him up in the slot last week. So there you go, mate. That's another great week. We've got 4 each. We'll put them up to everyone last week. We understand Breece Hall let us down, but we're going to go again, and we hope you make some money. So good luck this week, and we'll see you next week on the Aces NFL Best Bet Show.